This is Hanging with Hayes, the podcast where real life takes center stage. I'm your host, Chelsea, wife, virtual assistant, photographer, dog mom, and entrepreneur. Join me as I dive into the everyday experiences that shape our lives, relationships, and everything in between. Remember, these are my personal opinions, so take them with a grain of salt. Get ready for candid conversations and genuine insights. Welcome to Hanging with Hayes.
What's up, girl?
What's up?
Nothing. I'm good. How are you?
PG.
Thank you for coming on my podcast. Why are you nervous? We're just having a conversation like me and you always do.
I've never done something this cool though.
I'm honestly so honored that this is your first podcast ever, and I can't believe it. Like when you said that, I said, "Are you serious right now?"
Yeah, I've been asked a couple times, but I just I don't know much about it, and I'm just like, I just talk. So being on a podcast, I was like, man, I don't know if scripted, and then of course it's people I don't know, so I always feel like that's it's hard for me to be conversational and be myself. I'm very awkward.
So am I.
So if I'm not like in a mean way, just
I'm socially awkward too. I understand. So like as soon as you said yes, I said yes.
Socially awkward besties.
I was so happy when I told Zach. I said Carla said she'd come on the podcast. He goes, "Oh Lord, that's going to be a podcast episode." I was like, I know.
It'll be one for the books.
I know.
It's good though, like we get to catch up too. So
I know exactly. It'll be a fun one, and I think it's funny just the way that you and I met too. It's so funny. How many people still comment on like my shit? You're trying to copy I Am Lady Warrior. I'm like, well, that's my sister, so okay.
Yeah, I don't understand why it has to be copying, and you can't agree with what someone says and then create your own thing of it. Even if you take phrases from someone, so what? It's a relevant phrase, or it's it's something that registered or affected you or impacted you. So like it's going to impact other people. Now, if you want to go word for word for
that's
someone
weird
and not give them credit, okay. But like there's nothing in this world that is original.
An original? No.
Like you listen to any country song out there, like they all talk about the same things, and that's not like nobody's yelling at them,
No, they're all getting drunk. They're all getting drunk in the back of their truck with a girl, laying up looking at the stars, and they're gonna go fishing, and they're gonna go get ran over by a train. Literally, all of the same fucking song.
And we love it. I love it. Like
me too.
But I'm not like, oh my gosh, this sounds the same, or you stole that. Like, no, it's what people relate to, so you do it more because that's what people relate to, and that's what they like. And
exactly.
So,
exactly.
And that's what I don't like. You can say the same thing 30 different ways, and that doesn't.
You can skin the cat so many ways.
Yeah, like whether it's a poem, whether it's a song, whether it's a book. Like, how many or movies do you watch that you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen next because this is what always happens in these movies. But it's not like the movie or the filmmaker is, in trouble or getting backlash.
Exactly.
Oh, you stole this from that other movie. No, that's just what people like, and it gets really good ratings, and people enjoy this, and they continue to come back. And
well, think about Lifetime movies at Christmas time. They're all the same fucking movie.
I love those.
I do too. I sit there with my mother-in-law and watch them all the time. It's like, I know what's going to happen.
But I still love it.
It's so stupid. It's a guilty pleasure. We all know that the girl leaves the small town, comes back, and falls in love with a guy who doesn't like her. It's fine.
Yes. And then they get married on Christmas. It's like, but it bothers me that people want to make people feel bad about all this. The only thing that gets me is when like you will literally take my video and post it to your page and just change it from me in color to me in black and white as though it's your own personal video. Like that is not okay. Anybody can take anything I say and put it into their own video and make it their own. And I'm not going to be butthurt about it. I'm just going to be like, oh, we have a lot in common because if you resonated with what I said, we probably are alike and we would probably get along. But not everyone, as we know, feels that way.
I know. I think it's very, I don't know. It almost feels like you've made it in a weird way when people take your videos like that too. But at the same time, it's like, man, those are my fucking thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, that's like,
Why?
that's what I invest my emotions in those things. Like sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm numb, sometimes I'm venting. And you take that and like steal it from me. And it's almost like, no, like you weren't the one feeling that. Like you
Exactly.
just take my emotions and repost it and then make money off of it.
Yes, that part feels so disgusting.
Like that's my vulnerability that you're
You're monetizing off of my emotions and my literal verbal diary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird.
Verbal diary, 100%. That's it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I can't remember what video it was that I saw of yours, but I remember immediately, I think I listened to maybe 10 seconds and I said, I love this girl. Immediately was like, oh, follow, love her. Oh. And I started seeing your stuff and I'm like, oh my God. And then you replied to something. I don't remember what it was. I just commented and I was like, she knows I exist. Holy shit. Yeah, you knew I existed. And I said, oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so weird though. Like, because I am a human being. Like, I think that there are people out there who think that I don't like get up and put my britches on and hurt my knee going upstairs and, like run out of toilet paper like anybody else.
I know. I feel the same way.
I'm calling for help from the bathroom, just like you. Like, I just want like but at the same time I don't take that for granted because the volume of people that relate is like how many times I cry reading comments.
Me too.
On my page, and I'm going through because as the human part of me is like, I cannot respond. I cannot respond to every comment. I cannot. I like every comment. But when I do get on and I check my notifications, I go to the comments and I try and scroll through the comments and read as many as I can with the time I have. And I don't know, I sat there and bawled. I can't.
Amount of, I think the ones that just make me the saddest are the men that are like, oh my God, I wish my wife was like you.
Oh, those make me angry.
They make me sad and they make me angry. They make me feel lots of things because it makes me feel icky.
That's what I'm saying. It's the ick factor for me because I get frustrated. Like I can like, do I feel bad that you don't have that? But to me, the ick is, are you just saying that? Maybe you have that. This one made me sound like a bad person. When I do question, and as a human,
I do too.
I always play devil's advocate with my friends.
Me too.
And they're telling me something, I'm devil's advocate, and I'm like, but are they really that bad, or are you just not seeing and receiving what they're doing and giving? Or maybe they really are that bad. I can't say, oh yeah, like you're just ignoring all the things that they're trying to do to love you and you're not actually appreciating them. Maybe they really aren't doing them. And maybe that wife, girlfriend, old lady, whoever is just, they exist. Like bad women exist. Not good women exist. That's blatantly obvious.
Very true.
But I can't just assume that based on a single comment. And the reason it throws up like a yellow flag for me, like a flag is you came on social media to tell me about that when you should be saying it to them. And if it really is that bad, why are you with them? Like, am I your therapist? Am I your counselor? Am I your pastor? Am I your family? Am I someone who can actually look into your life and give you perspective? No. I feel for you if that's really true, but I can't be the person to say that, and so therefore I have to take my emotions out of it, and I get frustrated that you come onto social media to do those things. I think one of the things that you and I have in common that we've said several times is welcome to the side of TikTok or social media where we don't bash our spouses.
Correct.
Don't put them down. Because
yep.
Is he perfect? Is Mitchell perfect? Am I supposed to say a name? I mean, I put his name on social media. Okay. All right, yeah. But is Mitchell perfect? No.
Mm-mm.
But am I going to go tell the world every time he annoys me or does something? No, because guess what? I annoy him and do stuff wrong all the time too. And that's Pandora's box.
Yep.
And it does no one any good. Your dirty laundry does not belong on the internet.
Mm-mm. Oh my God. Because the other problem is, and I think people forget this, everything you say is permanent on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ick factor, like I think what you're talking about, if I'm understanding, like what you mean by that is, I feel like you're looking for an in. Like you're like, my life sucks. Like,
it is like there was one, and this is not like the same kind of thing, but I had somebody comment who has been following me for a very long time. I just now realized that you have tattoos. Showing them to you. 2, I've had them a long motherfucking time, buddy. 3, you're not paying attention. Like, what?
And, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they've just been listening and so honed in onto what you're saying.
Maybe.
That's my devil's advocate. Maybe they just are like,
you're right.
And I don't pay attention to the tattoos. And that's where never judge a book by its cover.
Correct.
Do not look at me and assume that I'm ignorant or...
I also have a nose ring and blue hair, so I'm also just a garbage pile of a human.
Yeah. Did you know that, I didn't know if you noticed, but I have a booger in my nose and people call it that. Oh, he's ridiculous. I'm like, okay. That's fine. I get it's not for everyone.
It's fine. I do it for myself.
You go get one. I'm not making you go get one. I'm not you to, the great thing about this versus tattoos is I can take this out. Yeah. And you never know it's there. You never know.
It will close up like within an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why I don't ever say that. Yeah. So it just, and the only time I take it out is to change it, and I haven't done that in a while. So
I literally got it pierced, and then she changed it, and it's been there for like 3 years. So I've never changed.
I mean, why? If it's not broken, don't fix it. But yeah, I can't.
Some of the comments just. The black button is also my favorite button, and I will obviously keep certain hate comments on there because it does fuel your algorithm and it does push it out. But at the same time, some of those comments I don't have enough fucking mental capacity for, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. I don't want to deal with it.
Go past.
But I do. Sorry, go.
Nope.
Awkward. That's fine. We're doing great.
Yeah. All I was going to say was I wish people would understand I don't have social media to be visually appealing to you. If so, you'd be paying a subscription fee.
Did you see my video talking about that?
No. Maybe?
I've had at least 10 men in the last month ask me why I don't have an OnlyFans.
I did see that. Yeah.
And I replied back to probably 6 of them. Respectfully, fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing shade at women that do that. You do whatever the fuck you want to do, boo. But that ain't me. Like, you're going to get a fucking elbow shot. That's all you're going to get. And
look at it. This one's better. It's got a tattoo.
I said, fuck that.
It was great.
She literally was doing a needle around it, and she's like, "We're just gonna go around it." I was like, "That's right."
Yeah, no, look at all that shading there.
No, fuck that.
It's yeah, no, I don't like. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I
No,
really
me either.
like. There's one person that I need to find that I need to find me attractive. Like that's
Yep, and I only want my husband to see that, but okay.
yeah, yeah.
The amount of
makeup.
huh?
It goes to the whole makeup thing that you and I were talking about, where like, oh, why are you wearing so much makeup? Your makeup goes under your neck, and you know, okay, well, take it. If you want to know the truth, the only person who gets the privilege of seeing me naked in my face
In my face?
is my man, because that's like that's one of those special things. Like, he is the only one who gets to see me raw and vulnerable. He's the only person that I trust.
Correct.
To see me in that state.
Yep.
Take it however you want. I don't trust the internet to accept me for who I am, and I don't need the internet to accept me for what I look like.
Now, on the other hand of that, you know how I've seen a few videos of this and it was a very fascinating visualizing kind of video where, you know how a lot of people will say, well, when you get into a long-term relationship, you let yourself go. And I've always been that person to want to maintain like my face, my hair, my body, like all that. Well, this video and it was very fascinating. It was a couple, they were walking outside their house. They were walking up to the door. They're all like dressed up cute. Girl was dressed up cute. He was dressed up cute, like a guy, whatever. They step over the threshold and she turns homeless, you know, sweatpants, hoodie, her hair's up in a bun. And he looks at her and then he's like, what? They back up outside and she's in her cute clothes again. And then they step over the threshold, sweatpants and sweatshirt. And I'm like, what an interesting thought.
Yeah.
But on the same token, I think, this is just my opinion. Obviously, everything I fucking say is my fucking opinion.
Let's put that script at the bottom.
I think, right, exactly. This is just my fucking thought. Okay, leave me alone. I think there is a time and a place for being homeless with your man. And I also think there's a time and a place for being put together with your man because you're trying to impress him. And I also think a lot of people have this misconception, oh my God, you always have to be put together for your man because you're getting ready to go out on a date with your girlfriends, but you come home and you get all that shit off and you look homeless. Well, your man also wants to see you comfortable around him. So it's like there's a fine line between those two things.
There is, like, he doesn't like when I'm like I can't lay down on the couch because I have makeup on. I don't want to get makeup on the couch, and then I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
And like he wants me to be relaxed and at ease because if not, I get overstimulated. I'm frustrated.
I want to touch my face.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. I'm like, it's not good. It's not good. But I like what you were, the points you were making about like, oh, there's a time and a place for being dressed up and dressed down. This and a lot of this is a touchy topic for women because I do have a lot of old-fashioned values instilled in me. And part of that is your presentation in public. And a lot of people say, well, what do you care what everybody thinks? My mom instilled in me, you do not leave your house without a drugstore face on and clean underwear.
Yep.
Because you never know who you are going to run into or if you're going to be in an accident.
Correct.
Like you could hit either end of the spectrum and with those cared for both. No one cares that you're wearing makeup if you're in a horrible car accident. But you do care if you have on clean underwear. And if you run into, the president of the United States, oh my gosh.
Correct.
Look homeless. Like, at least I don't wear a lot of makeup. That's never been me. But to have foundation, blush, mascara, and like chapstick or lip gloss, like I use a Vaseline. You have this lip tint that I really like now.
I was going to say that is the best color on you, and I
Thank you.
love it every time you wear that color.
It's awesome because I don't have to keep reapplying it. It's literally just like a liquid lip tint that I found at Walmart. And I'm like, I really like this, and I don't.
You're going to have to send it to me because I love it.
Well, and it's not like the sticky stuff that you have to peel off, which is great.
Good, because fuck that.
Yeah, so it's actually like a glossy thing. But I mean, that's it. Like I don't wear crazy eyeshadow. I don't know how to contour. I do not know how to contour. I wonder what you look like. I look like I have freckles with a couple places of acne without makeup. I look like this, just with more freckles. Like that's.
If I don't have makeup on, literally people ask me if I'm sick.
Yeah, like you'll know me. You'll know it's me. Oh, that's Carla. Like I still look like myself. I just look sad.
Yes. Without my fake eyelashes, I don't have any. They're invisible.
Yeah. So like, and for me, it's like when I go out and, I'm so much more productive.
Yes.
If I'm confident in myself. And
I also feel that way in the morning when I wake up and I work from home.
Oh, yeah.
If I don't physically put on, like this is not dressed up by any means, but I'm not wearing leggings. I'm wearing jeans. If I don't put on pants or a dress or something, I feel like a sack of shit.
Oh.
That's just that, like my productivity goes down when I'm working from home if I don't have clothes on.
I don't relate to that halfway.
I don't get it. If I don't, I won't put makeup on. But if I don't brush my hair, brush my teeth, like put actual clothes on, I don't feel as productive as I do if I do those things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the only reason, like, so when I was like, especially like post COVID and everything, I was really work from home, and I was that way because I was like, even when COVID was over, we hadn't gone back to hybrid yet. We weren't back in the office yet. It was a very slow transition back. And it was just like, I would spend 8 to 10 hours a day working in the house. And so I just felt, I needed to do something. Now, because I, work 3 days at the office, the couple days I get to work from home, you will have to duct tape me down to get pants on me. Like,
I understand that.
I'm in my pants or my workout shorts. No makeup, like hair. I brush my teeth. I do that. But everything else, there's been
5 years.
So what's really bad is we were just talking about the makeup thing and like getting ready. Those days when I do work from home, those couple days a week, I am a troll until about 3:30 or 4 p.m. And it's time to go to the gym. Put on makeup.
You know what I do? I put clothes, like if I do that where I'm trolling for the day, I will put clothes on and meet Zach at the door with normal clothes on.
Yeah. Like it's like I cannot, I've been like this all day, and now I've got to leave the house, even though it's just the gym and I'm going to get sweaty or whatever. Again, I'm going out in public. Like, do I need to put on layers of makeup? No. I'm going to put on a little bit of concealer, a little bit of mascara, blush, lip gloss. That's it. We're out the door. I can literally do my makeup consistently every day in less than 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
Like, the longest is if, like, my mascara isn't right and it, like, clumps together or something. Like, that's the worst part for me.
Yeah. Mine's my eyebrow. My left eyebrow is an asshole. My right eyebrow is my favorite. But
this is my bestie.
She's a queen.
Yeah. There's always something like that's really about it. My mascara is the one thing that takes me the longest because sometimes I can't get it even, and it looks like I got this really good eye and this one eye that's like not opened. So
I have very long eyelashes, but they're so fine you cannot see them until I put mascara on, and then the mascara that I use, it like falls off, so that's why I put these fake things on, and they last me like 8 days and I don't have to fucking do them. It's great.
That's awesome. See, that's an efficient.
Dude, they're cheap as fuck too.
Yeah.
Like people that spend $300 on these, I'm like, bro, no. They come in a pack like this big and they last me months and it's $20.
That's nice. Never.
I'm
so weird about things touching my eye.
I am too.
But I always see them and I'm like, I wonder what, but then again.
I could literally teach you how to do it. It's very fucking simple, but
table that for next conversation so you can give me a tutorial and we'll see how it goes.
I would do it. We could FaceTime and I'll just be like, okay, put it here.
up to the left.
They legit take me 15 minutes and I'm like completely done and they last me an entire week.
Right. Yeah.
Like
awesome.
It's like an efficiency thing, just like you said, because it's, yeah. So I actually do want to talk about topics.
Like actual things. My bad.
Dude, we were doing great. We've been great. We're at like 28 minutes. We're doing good. Okay. So let's talk about Mitchell's job and all the fun unpredictability of that.
Okay. Where do you want me to start with that one? Because that's a broad one.
I know. So I guess, how did you guys meet? Let's start from the beginning, and then let's go into more of the nitty gritty of how you guys manage your schedules and all of that.
We met at the gym.
Did you really? Shocker.
I know. Twist, like you just nobody would have ever guessed that. I was a trainer at the gym. I had just moved to Virginia from West Virginia and, was going through divorce, all these different things, separated from my ex-husband at the time because in Virginia, where I'm from, you can just go to the courthouse and get a divorce. No big deal. But we had lived in Virginia for like 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. So in Virginia.
Wow, that's wildly different than over here. Holy shit.
Yeah, here you have to wait 6 months with no kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you do have kids before you can. So, yeah. So we had to wait a year.
6 months with kids here.
Yeah. So we had to wait a full year. And so I was separated, and I remember my boss. I was a training director, so I was talking to the senior training director, and I remember seeing Mitchell come out. And remind you, we're babies at the time. Like I'm like,
how old were you?
I was 24, 23, something like that.
How old is he? Was he?
He's like 6 months older than me, 7 months older than me. So he's about.
Okay.
So we were both like 23, 24-ish.
You were toddlers.
Yeah, we were toddlers. This was like 11 years almost ago. So, yeah. So actually, it was over 11 years ago. So I remember like I was standing there having a conversation towards the end of our shift. It was like 9 p.m. Like I worked long hours.
Oh.
Yeah. So I worked like
as a trainer.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then you had like a little window in the middle where you could like work out, go do whatever. You had like a couple hours in the middle of the day. It was awesome. It was really hard. It was really hard as a single mom, let me tell you.
Yeah.
His dad was very involved, but I had so much guilt doing that. So it was my first like job trying to make ends meet, and it was commission based. So, but I was standing there talking to him like about some of the sales and a couple of clients and stuff at the end of the day. And I remember seeing this big black clothing wall just walking down the aisle, like by the locker rooms. And I like stop and I'm like, that dude is a walking wall. Literally the words that I said. And Kevin's like, oh, I said a name.
It's okay. You didn't say his last name.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm just hoping you'd cut that. It's all a walking wall, right?
Do you want me to cut that?
I don't care.
Okay.
People laugh at me. I don't care.
Okay.
So I said that to Kevin. I was like, that dude is a walking wall. And he embarrassed the life out of me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So Mitchell was going to the front door to meet one of his buddies to leave. The buddy was waiting on him at the front door. And Mitchell was like, I don't know what Kevin said. I can't remember what he said, but he like basically called me out like, oh, she thinks you're, something. And Mitchell was leaving with like this other dude that's smaller, like, but also very fit. Like he looks like the typical, gym dude, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And they walk out, and of course there's glass doors, and I'm standing right next to the file cabinet by the glass doors, and so they walk into the little exit before you go to the exit, and I'm just like, oh. And I look out, and both the dudes, Mitchell and this other dude, are standing there, and they're like laughing, and they like fist bump, and I'm like, oh, cool. Well, it turns out, like, time goes by, and I like avoid eye contact at all costs, but at the same time, as I'm training clients, I'm like doing the extra. I'm doing the most in my sessions. Okay. And later, when Mitchell and I like officially got together and like we're like on the verge of being official, like we were talking about like, when did you first see me? When that, that sort of thing, swapping stories. And he was like, I love those stories. Yeah. He was like, oh, I saw you. He was like, but I thought Kevin was talking about my buddy. He's like, he's the type that girls typically go for. I just thought I was talking about him. That's why I never talked to you. And I was like, no, I made a comment about you. And I told him, I told him you were a walking wall. And like, I was like amazed. Like I'd never seen somebody that size before. But also he was very attractive. Like it wasn't just like his size, like his facial features and his eyes. I was like, wow.
Is he the same size he is now that he was then, or is he like completely different?
He's bigger now. But I would say like weight wise, he's bigger, but it's funny because to me, he's not that much bigger. But then when you look back at pictures, you're like, wow, you were a baby. Like, but I think more now he looks bigger now. He is bigger now. Yeah. Because it's been 11 years. So he's trained more. So he's essentially like, if you took measurements, they might not be that different, but he had more body fat then.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And he was still very defined. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, he's trained for so long that his metabolism is so much faster, so he stays leaner naturally. Therefore, his muscles look even bigger. So, like to me, he's bigger. He is bigger now. Like I'm sure they're like his biceps and stuff have grown. When you train for 11 years, you just naturally.
Oh, absolutely.
Course, that's 11 years since we met. Not to mention, the 10, 15 years he trained before that.
Exactly.
And all the sports and semi-pro ball and everything like that. So. Yeah, and then he told me, and I thought it was hysterical because he told me, I grabbed the biggest weights I think at the time, like the biggest dumbbells in there were like the 120s. He was like, and I'd start curling when you were like in the vicinity. He's like, I always watched you in the mirror. I was like, yeah, you never looked at me. He said, there's a lot of mirrors in there, Carla. I was like, okay. Yeah. So, and then that was just kind of the beginning of the story till now. And he was in the same industry. We were talking about work. I know we got sidetracked on how we met, but he was always in there super late. So this kind of he was always in there late. That's why like at 9 p.m. as I was getting off, he was leaving because he was getting to the gym late because he was in construction then. But that was when he was like bottom of the totem pole with a shop, and, was working all the hours he could work. And at the time, his dad was really sick. And shortly after he and I got together, his dad had passed away. But he was trying really hard to and he had a lot of other stuff going on in life at that point. It was just really bad for him. And so, I've said a few times that he's lived 3 lifetimes in one, and so have I. That's why I think we understand each other so much is we've both been through very different things, but also very similar, I
can relate to that.
Struggles. So yeah, so he's done that, so he's a superintendent, heavy road construction now, but he spent 16, 17 years. Like he just got up to superintendent like a year or two ago. But I mean, he worked all the way up from that to, operator to foreman to, and he's been with several different companies, and it's always something different. There's always something terrible with every company that affects your home life. Like whether it's, his bosses, like at the time, he would come home in the worst moods. Like, I mean, they would just have all out brawls and they would treat him like crap, or, they'd mess up his hours, before he was salaried. His paychecks would be short. And it was just always something. And just the exhaustion, because when we were, he was recovering from a lot of those things, like his dad and stuff like that, and some other things in life. And financially, it didn't matter how much money we made. It was like we never got ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really difficult. And then we had Kinley, and that little girl created an entirely new man. Like,
isn't that crazy?
It's not that he was never a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he wouldn't be upset with me for saying this. Like, I think this is something that we have discussed. But so I think it's safe to say, like, he had growing up to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like consequences. And because and I know that he won't, because he even says now, like, we had some issues with some people recently. He was like, before I had that little girl in there, he was like, we wouldn't be having a conversation right now. Like, he said, I've hurt people for less. Just his action and his temper and how he processes, like, has changed because now he has someone else to think about.
Absolutely.
And even for me, like, watching him do those things, that changed me too. Like, I mean, I've been a mom for 12, almost 13 years in a few weeks. Like, my son will be 13. So I have had that longer.
Ooh, you have a teenager.
I know. I know. So, teenage boy, I love him. But, so I've had that exposure longer, but it's something about that little girl.
And it's also girl dad. That's such... Oh my God. I don't get baby fever ever until I'm around my nieces and Zach is playing with my niece. Well, his sister's daughter. And
yeah. Ooh. It gets me because I am a daddy's girl. Like, me too.
Big time.
So when I see that with Mitchell, it's like, it pulls at my heartstrings more,
chills. Just like, oh God.
God gives you what you need, not what you want.
Yeah.
He wanted a little boy, and I know for a fact that he is thanking the man above every day that he got that little girl, because I think she saved our relationship. We have a child together. We need to figure this out. Like, we've got to straighten up. Like, it wasn't that either of us were horrible human beings. We just had both, like I said, been through so many traumatic things that we were shut down. And even something like work and what's going on at your job and what you're bringing home wasn't communicated, wasn't understood. It was very much, I protect myself, and you're both on separate sides of the room, metaphorically speaking. So
right.
Sometimes literally, But yeah, so it I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of where it's been and what it's led to. Today, for example, he's, off today. He wasn't supposed to be. He's supposed to be working night shifts, but because of all the rain we're having, he's home. But now that pushes back his night shifts later on, and my birthday is in like a week and a half. So it's like, okay, so you're going to be home or you're not going to be home? Like, how do we make, we don't make plans. Like, we don't make plans. You have to be the type of person who says, I like surprises, whether you do or not. Like, you have to be like, okay, you have to be a very go with the flow person, because maybe
you do.
You're off at 2 or 3 p.m. because of weather, or something went sideways, or whatever. Or maybe they're not coming home at all because of those exact things, because of weather. It's going to rain, so we have to prep for the rain. We have to put up all these protective measures to prevent things from washing away. And
when they come home early, you're like, oh my God, what a fucking Christmas present.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the kids get most excited about that because they're always in shock. Yeah.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I feel very, it's weird because, it's every single day. It's something so different. It's like, yeah, they're going to work around the same time, but when they get off work, it's Russian roulette and you have no idea. It could be 3, it could be 10 p.m. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll be home soon. That could be anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours.
Correct.
So, and I think one of the things is I always say, do you have an idea of like a roundabout. He was like, "What?" And some people were like, "Oh, don't ask that. That stresses us out." You have to understand, like, we do have children, and I need to know how to prepare them. Is Daddy going to be home for dinner? Is Daddy
Correct.
If he doesn't know, I'm not. It'd be one thing if I asked and he doesn't give me a direct answer and I get upset about it. I ask. If you know, great. If you don't know, that's okay. Just say, I don't know.
Fine.
And what I'll do, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Correct.
Because saying you don't know tells me
you really don't know.
Yeah. And don't make any plans. Don't make any expectations. Continue on about your evening as though he's not going to be there. And if he shows, great.
Yes.
If not, no one's disappointed. No one's
correct.
Mad.
Correct.
So, that's one of the things I think I would kick back on everybody. It's like, don't ask us what time we're getting off because we don't know. Actually, sometimes you do. Like, sometimes you have an idea.
Sometimes, like, but most of the time.
Roundabout. Like, you know, like for me, Mitchell always knows because he's the one who's scheduling everything.
True.
That's why I can ask him that. Now, if you're on the side of that, no, you truly don't know.
Yeah, he has no idea.
Mitchell's the one telling the guys when to go home, when to do this, when to do that.
Yeah.
So I can say, like, do you have an idea? Is it going to be a late one? That's what I'll like. Do you know?
Oh yeah, I do that too. I'll be like, so is your dinner going to be in the microwave or are we going to eat together? Because like I'm hungry. Do I snack? Do I lay off on the snack?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, cool. I'm going to eat my dinner.
Yeah.
And you don't know, and that's okay. I'm not gonna be upset. It's okay.
No. Oh my God, the amount of women that get so mad about that. I'm like, no, if you can't handle that, don't be with men like that because it's not their fault. It's can't get mad about that shit.
Do you know how many times like he's getting off at this time and then there is an accident. Like a civilian accident on the job site. Like they barrel through cones or something, and he has to stay there to give the incident report and then take down his thing and then turn it into his boss. So he's there for 4 more hours. Like, at nothing of his fault or the guy's fault or the equipment's fault. No one's at fault other than some dingbat who can't drive or pay attention or stay off their phone. And have a big accident and they have to stay. You know, or there's something like that. So like it really is. They can know, but they can't know the future. They know, but you
absolutely
don't. You think you know.
And I think it goes like, yes, there's a lot of women that can't handle that, but it has to go with both partners. They have to both step up in that. And, you know, you work full time. He works obviously a lot of full time times 10. So, tell me about how, you know, you work full time with your kids and then trying to balance those kind of schedules together because obviously it changes constantly.
I cry a lot.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I believe it.
I cry when no one can see me. So it is hard because I get this huge guilt when I tell him I'm so tired. I've had such a long day, and I tell him like I know it's nothing compared to what you're doing. Like because I know no matter his job position, the man cannot stop himself from doing labor. Like he's always jumping in to run the equipment, or you know he'll pick up a shovel. He's been in the ditches. He's been in the holes. Like he's laying down asphalt. He's moving gravel. Like. He's doing all of that, and I'm just and even at that, just the way he has to run back and forth on a job site because this crew needs him. Oh, somebody sliced their finger over here. Now he's got to run over there, like quite literally, physically running. You know, and it's in all different weather types. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like I know it's not the same. And he's like, babe, stop.
It's a mental thing though, and I feel that.
Yeah, and that's it's hard because he gets up early. Usually because, the man's not great with alarms, but he's getting better because I call him out and he watches all my.
What does he have? 400 of them?
It's like 4 or 5. Yeah.
I'm a 2 alarm person.
His thing is he won't turn them off. They just keep going off. And I'm like I will literally hit him.
I don't know how Zach hears his alarms. They are on like so quiet, but he does.
Yeah, and he sleeps.
Oh my God. Like literally they are so quiet. I've woken up and his body just automatically wakes him up he just has them like as a precaution.
Some people
But
are
when
built like that. They really
oh
are.
my God, I'll wake up and all I hear is beep, beep, beep. I'm like, how the fuck do you hear that?
How does that wake you up? Yeah,
doing?
just in case. Yeah. No. Yeah, he's really bad with alarms. He's gotten better. He's improving, but it's when he's really tired is nearly impossible. That's why I'm like this sounds terrible, but we need to give ourselves a bedtime because you struggle to get up. I know you want to spend time with me in the evenings, and that goes back to like how do you make it work?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, like our only time is after the kids go to bed. So we just want to sit on the couch and watch our show. Well, by the time you watch a couple of episodes that are
What are you watching right now?
right now we're watching Fire Country. It's a good show.
What did we start? Oh, we're still on All American. We're hardcore All American people.
I started watching that a while back, and then I stopped watching it, and I forgot to go back to it. It's a good one though.
You gotta continue. It's really good.
Some new episode, like some new season out or something.
Yeah, it's new right now. There's a new season.
Yeah, I haven't watched the new season. But so he gets up super early in the morning. He likes to be out the door 5:30ish.
Mm-hmm.
About a half an hour from the job site. You know, the guys get there around 7. He wants to get there around 6 to get all of his junk done before the guys get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get up around 6:30, 6:45, and then I get my daughter up, get her dressed, which she is not fun to wake up in the mornings. Get her up, get her dressed, make her breakfast, pack her backpack, pack her lunch, fuss and argue over, I don't want to wear these shoes with that. You know, 6 years old, but she's already just difficult to like. Then if you don't want me to pick it out, then you go pick it out. But you said, Mommy, will you pick out my clothes? So I go pick it out. And then you don't like what I pick out. So that's a whole thing. Then it's like, we got to get to the bus. And she's like crying, Mommy, I want to stay home. Mommy, will you home?
Is she a fashionista?
She is. She is a diva, for sure. So get her on the bus at 7:20. Once we figure out what the heck she's wearing, weather appropriate, school appropriate, all of those things. Come back in. Feed the dog, clean up her breakfast mess if I have time. Then I go wake up my son. Always
Is he a lot easier?
Yeah, he's just really hard to wake up. He's a deep sleeper. Mm-hmm. Go back to sleep. He's just really difficult, and I hate going in his room in the mornings and opening the door. You get hit with the biggest waft of just fart. Like I'm telling you, there's a fart bomb that he sets off every night in his room. It's awful. Look, I'm traumatized and you're laughing because I have to brace for it every morning.
You need to go in with a gas mask and just scare the shit out of him.
I have to prepare myself. I'm literally opening the door.
What a boy.
And I'm yelling from outside the door, hoping he'll wake up that way. Then I have to go in and pull the covers off of him. That's worse. And then I'm like, Caden, I'm leaving. I'm going to go make your breakfast. Like, get out of the bed. If you go back to sleep, like, you're in trouble. Like,
just fart downstairs.
Then I go to the kitchen, which is right next to his room. I'm looking at it right now, like his bedroom, kitchen. And I can hear
and it permeates to the kitchen.
Yeah, like I'm like, you're like, he just lets, every morning he lets off one from bed. You are a full grown man, I swear. Finally gets out of bed, goes to the bathroom. We're still working on AIM at almost 13 years old in the morning. And then
I'm fucking crying.
He's like, Mom, will you make me some oatmeal? And I'm like,
you don't need no fiber. You got enough fiber in there.
That, and I'm like, again, you're going to be 13 years old in a few weeks and you still can't make a bowl of oatmeal? I'd like to get ready myself. Like, I have myself to get ready. But okay. So I'm like, you know what? He can make
This
oatmeal.
is why your makeup takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. When he makes his oatmeal, the problem is he can do it. But, you know, when you dump the dry oatmeal in the bowl, there's like little dry oatmeals everywhere. In the floor, on the counter.
So he's aiming for multiple things.
Yeah. His aim is terrible everywhere. So So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because I don't feel like cleaning up the mess afterwards because I know you're going to do it. And then it's like, Caden, hurry up. Caden, you know, the dog's finished eating. I'm like, let her out. I got to go get dressed. You go get dressed, brush your teeth. Then I make sure he gets out the door. I'm like, did you get your backpack? Did you get your lunch? You know how many times that kid has left his lunch sitting on the counter? I'm like,
100
oh my gosh.
this week.
So it's fine. And then once he gets out the door, then I can finally finish. That's usually when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw my clothes on. Like I check my emails and stuff, prepare, make sure, okay, is this actually what I'm doing today at work? Mentally, sometimes I go to the office, sometimes I go upstairs, just depending on how I feel that day and how many badge swipes I have. And so then I work my 8 hours, and I'm looking at Excel spreadsheets all day, and
Girl.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to, like, then, 4 o'clock comes and it's like, okay, Caden gets off the bus and then Kinley goes to daycare. So, because he's old enough that he can stay for an hour or so for me to go to the gym. And this is something I can laugh about. I was like, oh, you leave your kids so you can go to the gym? Like, that's very selfish of you. And I'm like, based on what I just described, that first portion of my day, I deserve an hour.
Yeah.
At this point, Mitchell's still at work. Like, he's oblivious to a lot of this, other than what I've maybe texted him to fill him in on. That's about it. Like, he knows what I do. He's not like, I am just doing all of this in parallel with him. Like, just focus on your job. So then I will go to the gym, and 4:35, something like that. And Kinley, the daycare closes at 6, so I have to get there by 6, pick her up, and then it's dinner, homework, still waiting on him to get home, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then it's bedtime routines. And he usually gets home close to that time, like around bedtime routines-ish.
Yeah.
And so I've done the full day. Like, I've done the full day, start to finish, for myself. Oh, and yes, dinner for the dog, everything else. So for 3 other living creatures, myself, so I'm taking care of 4 living creatures, myself included, from start to finish. And then when he comes home, one thing that I have really worked on, and I still have improvement to make, is giving him attention when he walks in the door. Because like you said, like, how do you balance that when you both have that? Like, I am also completely drained. I'm cleaning up messes, I'm mopping, I'm sweeping, I'm picking up dog hair, I'm manic trying to do the dishes because I don't want him to walk in and see a sink load full of dishes. Laundry needs to be done, and I'm trying to do all this simultaneously.
Which really sucks, though, because it's like, you know damn well that your man is never going to say, why the fuck are there dishes in the sink?
Never.
Ever. Zach doesn't either. It's in your own head, and it's like a standard that you've made for yourself, but it's like, it's such a toxic standard that I've made, and I'm like, why am I like that?
It is a toxic standard, but I also want my kids to realize, like, don't live in filth kind of thing.
Correct. Oh my God.
Does every single dish have to be done? No. I just don't want the sink to be full.
No. And have effort in maintaining your home and making it livable. And like, I'm a very clean OCD person when it comes to like my house being clean. I have to sweep every single day because my dogs fucking shed like crazy. I'm one of those people. But if you physically have no more oomph in your body to do fucking dishes, whatever.
Yeah, and that has happened. And has he said the word no?
No.
And he will do the dishes. Granted, I do.
Oh my God.
I do give him a hard time.
People tell me all the time, you make your husband do the dishes after he's worked 12 hours.
Actually, I don't make him do it.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all, bitch. You're the one making shit up. My husband does it because he can see I'm at like 8%, and he's like,
I still
that happened to me a couple weeks ago. I was so fucking overstimulated mentally because my job is like a creative, and that is so different than looking at numbers all day. I can't even describe to you how weird that is. Going from being an accountant to what I'm doing now is a different brain.
100%.
And then like my brain hurt so bad. I couldn't even tell you my fucking name. At that point, I was so like, I don't even know my fucking name. And Zach walked in the house and I was like sobbing. And he goes,
Yeah.
You all right? I'm like,
yeah. And that's hard, but that's where it's so important to recognize
it's a partnership.
Yeah, I don't care if someone's a stay-at-home mom, wife, girlfriend, whatever, or not. I don't care. That doesn't mean they didn't have a hard day, and you don't get to tell someone that they didn't have a hard day.
Correct.
There are different types of hard, and it doesn't make
Say
it
that one more
less
time.
important.
Say it one more time.
There are different types of hard, and you don't get to tell someone otherwise. Like,
correct.
You don't get to take away from their feelings and invalidate their feelings. I don't get to invalidate his feelings. He doesn't get to invalidate mine, or it will hit the fan.
Yep.
Like, I will stand on that. You're not going to tell me that I don't have a right to be frustrated or that I don't have a right to be upset.
Nope.
But I also don't have a right to tell you that you don't have a right to be upset or frustrated.
Correct. It's also very, in that moment, I didn't know why I was so overstimulated. I just couldn't communicate it.
That's the worst. I hate that. I hate that.
I sat there just like, and I said it. I said, Zach, I don't know how to communicate how upset I am in this moment about everything that's going on. And I need you. And he's like, well, tell me what you need. I said, I need a hug. I need you to tell me I'm beautiful. And I need you to tell me that I'm doing a good job. So he did all those things. And it was so funny because after I was still upset because obviously, it's not going to just wipe everything off. And he's like, well, tell me what you need me to do. I said, you already did it, but I just need you to just listen. And he's like, okay. And so I'm telling him all these things and I'm unloading and I feel horrible because he had a really bad day.
And you're just piling it on.
And I am, and I'm sitting here sobbing and he goes, sweetheart, your bad day is valid. I'm going to sit here and listen to you, but I don't know how to fix this. I said, me either. And I just cried.
Yeah. Like, I got emotional because that's what you said about just tell me I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
I get that comment a lot. Like, it's so important for us to tell men,
oh,
thank you.
Yes.
Like, you're doing good. Now, I will say it sounds fake if you're doing it all the time. Like, you're doing such a good job. Like,
correct.
Don't berate. Don't like.
No. And tell them you appreciate them.
Yeah. They're not a child. Don't speak to them as though they're a child. But every once in a while, that out of the blue, like, Mitchell will he'll be telling me a story. And then this isn't me bragging on myself, but like, that's when I find the most opportune times where it doesn't sound corny or cheesy or insincere. When you're doing something and that I can tell you're really proud of yourself for, I'm like, I'm really proud of you. Like, you've really come a long way. Like, I've watched you crawl, scrape, climb from the bottom to where you are now. And I'm saying that now because it truly does, like, amaze me what he's done with himself and his life and how he's become the father and the man and even the employee that he is for the company that he works for. Like, they say people don't change. Yes, the fuck they do.
Yes, they do.
And if you're not changing, there's a problem. Like, you can't tell me someone that I'm not the same person that I was last year. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to change on her, but we won't change overnight. But you can watch someone morph over time and become not who they were 10 years ago. And that's what I see when I look at him. And I genuinely am so proud. And so to have that in return, like, I think men are just, no offense to the men out there, they're not great with words. That's not, and some are very good. But in the blue collar world, they're not.
They don't know how to say it.
Yeah, they're known to work with their hands and their bodies, not their words.
Yep. And, it's funny you say that because I had this thought yesterday. If someone were to walk up to my husband and say, how do you feel about your wife? He's going to be like, I love her. Like, she's great. Cool. Whatever. But if you were to say, Zach, show me how you love her, it would be so different.
Yeah. There would be lots of stumbling, probably.
Uh-huh.
Like, what do you mean? Like, it's they know. Like, it's like, I'm not saying that they're dumb or can't think. They sometimes also overthink. Like,
and especially Zach, because he has ADHD,
words,
and that's a thing.
Yeah. To put what's up here into work is hard. It's hard for women.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why it takes me 20 minutes to make a video sometimes, because my brain is like, woo.
Yeah, and it just doesn't come out right. And that's the thing is like, but when you have that on your hard days as a woman and as a man, when someone just says, you're doing so good, I don't know how many times, like, it's probably a handful of times that he's done it. And that's not a knock. That's a good thing because he does it when I need it most. It matters. I don't need praise all the time.
No.
He doesn't need praise all the time.
No.
It's when you need it the most. And like when you need that gentle reminder, you're doing it, you know? I'm going to try not to get emotional. I saved a text.
You can get emotional. It's okay. I get emotional all the time.
I saved a text from my dad who, you know, has always been really hard. That's why, you know, I am the way that I am. He's always been hard on me. But, you know, I remember he said, you are doing all the things that a lot of women, 99% of the women can't do these days. And he referred to, you know, the house, the kids, the job, you know, the spouse. And he's like, you are doing what 99% of the women population cannot do. And you are managing it. And I needed that day.
Dads know.
Yeah. And I just, you know, I had gotten off the phone and been upset with him. And he just sent that, like, after the fact. He sent that text after I got off the phone with him. It's just like, hey, you know, and I was like, you're right. I am doing the damn thing. Gosh darn it. Like, buckle up, buttercup. Like, it's hard because it, you know, I've always put on that strong front and that strong independent woman, and I still am to my core. That's never going to change, which is why I take so seriously my role in the workplace, in the home, in my relationship, because I will not fail. I will. I set my mind to, even if it means being soft.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
I'm so
I was just gonna say
I'm
that.
determined to be soft.
Yes. Yes. Because that man is bringing out the feminine in you, but at the same time, you have to switch that on and off at certain times.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there are days I have to carry a fridge because there's no one here.
Correct.
Like, it's not. Yeah. And I'm not going to ask him to do that when he gets home, or because, you know, sometimes I still need to remind myself I still got it. Like, it's a little bit of both. If I'm being totally honest, sometimes I need to remind myself, hey, you still can do all these things. You haven't lost your mojo, but at the same time,
I also turn into a puddle because my husband's around and I don't know how to do this shit. Because
this all the time. Babe, this light, it's flickering.
Or I forget how to human. I'm sorry.
I have done that, like with my truck and my plug wires. He did that. He helped me this weekend. I can do it. You know how many times I've YouTubed and done things? Or like the battery on my motorcycle, he helped me do that. But I was like, babe, will you help me? And of course he did it, and I observed him doing it, and I held things.
But I'm also just watching him do it because I'm like,
I don't think people understand how attractive it is to watch a man do man shit.
Oh my God. Girl, I watched Zach power wash the house. I sat in the yard on my rocking chair with my drink, and I'm like, you hot as hell. What the hell?
I'm always like taking pictures and videos because I'm just like, capture the moment. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You're all sweaty and dirty. Like,
oh my God.
This is what the guys at your work get to see all the time.
I know, damn it. The fuck? That's not fair. Well, you know what's really funny is he has a coworker who's a girl, and I've become like not really good friends with her, but like friends with her. She's another operator, and I went out and hung out with her a couple weeks ago, and I told her, I said, listen, I need you to send me content.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
I need to see from this POV.
I'm like, love you. You're the bomb. And she's like,
Yeah.
I love that I can hang out with you.
Yeah.
It's like, girl.
Yeah, no, there's just something about it. There's just something about it. Like letting go of the reins. And that's a win-win. When you talk about like, I become a puddle when he's around. I don't know how to human. That's a win-win. Because number one,
he wants to save the day.
He wants to save the day. He wants to fix. Like you said, like your last story about Zach, like, I don't know how to fix this. That's uncomfy. That's
oh my God. I don't like that. It makes me feel so like.
Yeah. When men don't know how to fix things, they're like, tense. I don't like it. Take me out. Men can't, and that's ingrained in their DNA. But also, that is one less thing, like on the list of things that I do in a day. That is one thing off my plate that I don't have to stress about, which allows me, gives me that space and refills my cup to be a better person for him. Like it's pouring into mine so that I can pour into his cup.
Correct.
So, like, it's a win-win.
It's also such a relief to look back at pictures and reminisce. That's the word. When you started dating to where you are now and seeing how different you are and how much of a glow up you had together, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad we got past that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was a time when I wouldn't let him help me. And I wouldn't ask for help. I wouldn't. Because, my trust and faith in people was gone. And I loved him. It wasn't a personal thing against him. I just was cold, I guess you could say. I was very cold and shut off and shut down. And he was the same way, to be honest with you. Like,
and I have a girlfriend who, she's been with her boyfriend for probably a year, and she's in that same boat where she's like, I just don't want, I want to do it myself. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you something. As somebody who's been with the same man for over a decade, they want you to ask for help.
Don't abuse it.
Because, correct, don't abuse it.
Yeah.
There's a fine line. They want you, like, there's independent women and then there's self-sufficient women. And I think they're two different things. And I think it's like men want to be that savior. They want to save the day. They want you to be the damsel in distress because that's what's in their DNA. And she goes, oh my God, I never thought about it like that. I'm like, just allow him to do it.
Yeah, they don't.
It's nothing big.
Yeah, you don't. Not an airhead when they like. I that people don't take the damsel in distress as like, oh, she's an airhead. She can't even tie her shoes. No.
Correct. No.
Like you said, self-sufficient. Like the woman can handle her business, but she needs me for something.
There's a reason why men and women are different.
Yeah, there's a reason. Yes. Like that, I can. That's probably cut there. That's all you need to say. There's a reason why men and women are different. Like, it's okay to ask for help.
It is
both ways.
Correct. It's always a two-way street.
Shameless plug. Both ways. Like,
I
know that. I think the most thing that I hear when it comes.
Oh my God, me too.
To a particular topic. There's two different ones. One is, women only want money and they just want, to be lazy and this and that and the third. And that's not, yes, there are some out there, but there are also some really terrible men out there. Okay. It always goes both. All right.
I'm not referring to those people. I'm talking about the good bitches. Okay.
Like the good ones, right? Like they exist. But then at the same time, it's the ones that are always like, I don't, why bother asking for help or why bother doing this because no one cares. And I'm like, so there's your problem. It ain't got no gas in it. Like there's your problem. Like that, that attitude. It takes a really strong person. It's okay to think that. Hey, we're human. It's okay to have negative thoughts. It's okay to see the worst in something because I do it. I'll tell you right now, my anxiety, I will create a problem where there is simply oxygen. I will do that. I will light a match and put it in flames. I put that in my brain. But that doesn't mean you have to live there.
Don't live there long.
Like, you visit it, you're like,
that's funny. Don't like it. Ew.
Yeah. Okay, well, back over here. Like, come back to where, because that is it.
Come back to logic.
Negativity breeds negativity.
Yes.
Hate breeds hate. Like, that, what you put out into the world comes back tenfold.
Absolutely. And it's also the people you hang out with is what you turn into.
Yeah. And you can't blame bad partners and spouses on bad partners and spouses. No offense. And this is me too, because you know the things that I've been through. That's poor choosing. The picker.
Your chooser ain't very good.
Yeah. And that's accountability. Put that in big letters. Accountability. Saying,
like SpongeBob. Accountability. Yeah. With the rainbow behind it.
Yeah. Sparkles. It's not saying that there's something wrong with you or that you'll never get it right. It's saying don't stop being a good person, but what can I do differently to prevent the same outcome, to prevent myself from choosing this type of person again? Yes, they were still a bad person. That doesn't change like the fact that they're terrible to you and did terrible things or cheated or lied or abused or whatever. That doesn't change what they did, and it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it right. And it does not mean that you deserve it.
Correct.
But what you do have to do is say, well, how did I get there? Do that reflection of how did I get there? And how do did I take the left or did I take a right? I took the left. Oh, we're going right next time. Like, here's the thing is you're not going to get it right. Even in the first, maybe it may take 5 times. You're going to have to filter through trash. I'm sorry.
Yep. You're dumpster diving.
That's been going on forever. Like, people have been terrible since humans were put on this earth. Terrible people have existed. Like, let's go back to Adam and Eve.
I was going to say, look at Cain and Abel. That was really fucking early.
Yeah, like, they've always been, they're always gonna be. So don't, you're not special.
No.
That's very blunt. You're not special.
It's fine. It's fine.
Like, hardships, my hardships don't make me special. I'm not special.
No.
Like,
also, like, going off of what you said, like, I have a few people that are really bad at choosing partners in my life. Like, I have girlfriends that are not good at choosing. And they have said to me, they'll call me randomly, Chelsea, I need this advice. And I have a lot of friends that ask me for advice. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it makes me feel good because I'm like, oh my God, people value my fucking thoughts. Like, that's nice. That's cool. Cool. Love that.
yeah.
They'll be like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, you're choosing the wrong people. And that's your choice. You're continually going down the same rabbit hole of trauma because they pick all these men with trauma and all these problems. Well, is it the guy or is it me? I'm like, I need you to just look in the mirror and think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you're having that thought, to me, that shows that you're finding growth within yourself and thinking, oh, fuck, maybe it is me. Yeah. You know, people really need to take a step back and do inward self-reflection. Like, oh, shit, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be, you're the problem. And maybe it's, I cannot say enough, like, 2 of the best people in the world can be absolutely horrible for each other.
Compatibility is
They're
thing.
not compatible. And it makes them ugly, terrible people to each other. Like, you look at them and you're like, oh, God, I cannot believe that. But you fell in love with them for a reason. Like, you just weren't compatible. Don't make them
correct
Satan because you weren't compatible. But also, like, you know, Mitchell and I, when we separated, it was not pretty. Like, that was not pretty. And it was a lot of blame. And then it was a lot of ugliness. And then it had to come to a point where it was like, I could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally said, I was like, I could have been a better woman. Like, it wasn't that I was a bad woman, but there were areas of opportunity where I was like, I didn't have to react that way. I didn't have to challenge in that way.
Hindsight's 2020.
To take everything so personally.
Right.
And and ironically, like we talked about this, he did the same. Mm-hmm. And the time that we spent working on ourselves, like, okay, I don't want to be that person anymore. Like, it's not that there was anything wrong, but like, if that's who I want to be with, these are the things that I need to work on.
Yeah.
Like so key points would be like, it's not that they're a bad person. Maybe you're just not compatible, and just leave it alone and stop through the mud. Like, move on. Or two, if you really love them and you say there is compatibility, but there's like the connectors aren't, aligned, shift a little bit.
Yep.
Then be willing to do that work and communicate that. And three, like, don't expect to get it right the first.
No, because
my key takeaways, like, you're not going to get it right. I still don't get it right.
No. And also, it's like what you said about compatibility. I could be doing the same shit for all these other men, and it wouldn't matter because I'm not compatible with them. I could be doing the exact same things that I'm doing for Zach for these other guys, and it would be like oil and water.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It really, truly doesn't matter. If you're not compatible with them in like 98% of shit in life, because the other 2%, you could probably just be like, it's okay, we can compromise on this or whatever. But compatibility is so important, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day how much you think this person's cute. It doesn't matter.
Let's talk about that in blue collar, though. Like, the compatibility, because there is so much tension and so much stress and so much, like, if you don't have compatibility, you are asking for
problems,
like a full-on atomic bomb, because it is such a if you can't understand that things are always changing and be
literally hour by hour.
Yeah, and that you have your own areas to work on and things like that. Like, that compatibility, I think, is like the foundation. Like, you have to be compatible, and if you're not, don't waste their time.
No, and I also think it's a lot of people chase an emotional connection with somebody. Like, they think, oh my God, I have to have this amazing emotional connection with this person right off the bat. I think emotional connection takes so much time invested in a relationship. And looking back at my emotional connection with Zach 12 years ago versus what it is now is nothing the way that it is now. I can look at that man and be like, I know what he's thinking, and I'll be right on the fucking money. Back then, I'd be like, I'm guessing.
You confuse lust and attraction for that emotional connection and compatibility.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I think one thing that I do struggle with too, like when people are always asking for advice and they're like, it's hard because you want to say, don't give up so easily, because like you said, it does take time. Like, quit being the first person to just anytime something's wrong, walk away. That's a fine line you walk.
I
know what is a roommate problem and what is an actual problem. Like, you have to know, do I truly love this person? Am I willing to work on who does the dishes when, how often, how frequently, to get to that?
The gender roles of that.
Yeah, the gender roles. What are those?
Nope.
When you get through those things, that's how you're able to get to that deep emotional connection, right? But if you through problems, respect, loyalty,
trust,
that is something that you don't stick around for. Like, in my personal opinion, it's not just walk away every time someone makes a mistake. And everyone has the right to say what you're able to put up with and what you're not. But I do struggle with that balance of everybody needs to quit walking away so easily.
Dude, it's shocking to me how many people do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, that's none of my business either.
No,
you know?
It's not. It's not.
But I can't force someone to stay if they're truly, truly hurting or unhappy. You know, how do you tell someone to stay? Oh, you need to stick it out. Quit being so faster and quick to walk away. When I don't know what that person is feeling and how miserable and how unhappy maybe they really are.
And they're only giving you tiny bits and pieces of their side and what's going on the other side. You don't know.
That's what I'm not in this. I can't answer that, you know, but I think that's one thing that is so important, that each individual person has to answer that for themselves. Like, stop being so fast to walk away, but only you can decide when it's time to walk away.
Absolutely. That is a you decision. And I honestly, if I was asking somebody for advice about that and I'm asking those questions, you might be at that point already because you're already having those decisions.
If you have that thought, it's not fair to the other person.
It's not.
It's not fair to that other person.
Unless you're actively not trying to communicate these things with that person, that's fucked up and toxic.
Yeah, it is. That kills me. There's a lot of that just I can't
like the lack of communication in some people's relationships mind boggle me. It is not my relationship. It is not my problem. But if you're coming at me, asking me for advice on something, I need to know every single detail of the situation.
I'm going to need to talk to them.
I need both of you in this message with me.
Right. I'm going to need to talk to them because I cannot.
No.
It mind boggles me as a whole. And
I'm not saying don't message me, because I will message literally anybody. I do not care. But this is my unbiased, I only hear side A opinion and I don't hear B, and this is just what I'm getting from the situation. And if it doesn't work for you, don't come back at me and say that relationship advice sucked dick.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, sometimes even outside of like the messages, because I try really hard to not. Like,
I get a lot of them, like a lot.
I don't. For me, it's a respect thing to Mitchell to not be engaged in those conversations.
Yeah, that makes sense. I asked Zach, I said, does this bother you? And he goes, no, because you're also giving people advice in that. And then like, that's the end of the conversation. And like, that's it.
I will say, like, it's not that I pick and choose though. Like I can tell, because I don't want one thinking like, and again, this is where that respect for Mitchell comes in. I don't want someone thinking that I'm like having this emotional conversation with them and taking it wrong. No. Like I want it. You need to be very bullet pointed. Like, here's this, here's that.
For the record, for everybody listening, I'm very fucking in love with my husband. I have no emotional connection with any of the other men that are in my DMs. Exactly. So that's just
if I even get the slightest inkling, like that they're using that as an in, to talk to me, I don't engage. Like I can't do that.
Nope.
And of course, like, Joe has access to all my stuff anytime he wants to see it. Like, it's not like I'm conversations from him.
Correct.
But there's been times where I've opened them and I'm like, maybe this person's truly being genuine, but I don't get a good vibe, and I'm not, and I just move past.
I do too. There are a few that I've been like, no.
Yeah, I don't. This doesn't feel right. You know.
Nope.
You could not even whether it doesn't. You're not hitting on me. You're telling me the story, but it's 2 + 2 don't equal 4 in this, and I just something I'm getting an ick. Something not right, and so I do choose very carefully in what I respond to, because I have to be 100% respectful of my relationship
and protect your own peace.
Yeah, exactly. You know, my own, no offense to anyone, like I also have my own life that I'm trying to live, and your problems, like I get emotionally, like I get
invested in people's lives, and I'm like,
the time I spend focusing on yours, like maybe like mine might go up in flames kind of thing. Like it's never like I don't want anyone to think I'm a therapist or a
No. Oh my God. I am not.
I'm not a relationship expert. Please don't put that on me.
Nope.
I don't wear that badge.
For the record, Carla and I are nothing but people. Okay.
If you ask my personal opinion, you're gonna get it, and you might not like it.
Yeah.
That's like I'm not here to be your coach or your mentor or anything because that is that is scary. And
the amount of people that have told me that I need to have like a mentorship, I'm like, no,
like that.
No, they wouldn't like me. I'd get canceled.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do well because I will absolutely always just be like, well, here's again, devil's advocate. I can see where you're coming from, but also you could have done this. You know, it's
and that's honestly, that's a lot of things. Like I have a lot of women that reach out to me and like, well, this is what my boyfriend did. Well, have you ever thought about how he feels about that?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I never thought about it. Like, I'm like, yeah.
It's
So I play this game with everybody on my podcast. It's called How Deep Will You Go?
Oh Lord.
It's a card game I got off the TikTok shop. It's very fun. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Level 1 is icebreakers. Level 2 is confessions. Level 3 is getting deep.
Okay.
Level 1. What's your favorite place you've traveled to?
The Redwood Forest.
Ooh. I've always wanted to go there like so bad.
Yeah. It was the coolest thing. Like what I wish I could say like some tropical location, but I've never been to a truly tropical location. But that one's the one that sticks out in my memory. That's like
Florida is as tropical as I can.
Myrtle Beach. I love Myrtle Beach, okay? Like but yeah, I wish I had like some really cool island I could say or some cool country, but that's all I got.
Can you hear my dogs?
I heard one bark, that was it.
Well, that's good because they're loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Level 2 confessions. What is something you really love about yourself? Toot your own horn, girl.
That I will always shoot straight and keep my word.
Do I resonated with you immediately? Because I know you were a no bullshit person, and I'm like, yep. Like that.
Yep. I take it very personally if I don't shoot it straight because then I feel like I'm not being true, and then that goes into like, keeping my word. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I will hurt myself trying. Like there will be something out of my complete control if I don't follow through.
Yep. Agreed. Very much so. All right. Last question. Ew, I don't like that question. What question have you always asked yourself since you were a kid?
What question have I always asked myself since I was a kid?
That's a tough one. I don't even know the answer to that for myself.
I'm trying to think of. Does it matter what age range as a kid?
No.
Not. Okay.
No.
If I'm gonna be okay.
That's fair.
I remember asking that a lot as a kid.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it would be if I were to answer that question. When I was a teenager, I thought I was going to marry the guy that I first fell in love with the very first time. And I asked myself, like when I was that age, like, hey, future self, do you get married to him? And it's like,
oh,
No, girl. Not
Yeah.
even fucking close.
Yeah, I would say like when I say am I gonna be okay? Like I think something similar to that. Like, are you gonna have the life that you like? Is all of this going to work out? Like, what are you going to accomplish? Are you gonna be okay? Like, and I still ask that today. So.
Oh, I know. I mean, do we all have it figured out? No. And if you do, I think you're lying.
Oh, you're lying.
Nobody has that shit figured out. There's not a person on this planet that has that shit figured out. But parting words, what is some advice you would give to a random person? It doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be anything.
A random person.
People listening.
I know. Forgive yourself. Doesn't matter how big, how small. You can't move past it if you don't forgive yourself. Like, you can forgive everyone else around you, or you cannot. Doesn't matter if you don't forgive yourself for that mistake you made, that choice you made, that thing you forgot, or that person that you let down, or that certificate or the test you failed. Forgive yourself.
You're making me cry.
I know. Yeah. Because you can't try again until you'll only be given half effort if you don't forgive yourself.
So true. Well, thank you for coming on my podcast and talking with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
For your first podcast experience.
I know. This was fun.
It was fun.
I would do this more often, I think. Because think
good.
It's definitely like therapeutic for me too. No,
I knew it would be.
I mean, mainly because it's you and like,
yeah,
I can talk to you about anything, and so it's like,
yes.
I don't get a lot of like girl conversations uninterrupted where I can like talk about my thoughts, my feelings, or listen to someone else's thoughts and feelings. Like, I get to hear your perception on things, and I think there's a lot of like advice and like I'm a process. When I process verbally.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. When I'm thinking of a video to post, I will do that. I will like think of the topic and then I start talking out loud.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I start like rolling through it and then I like jot it or whatever. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully my mic worked.
It was great. It picked up great. So hopefully my shit wasn't junk.
No, I doubt it.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye and then just stay on for a sec.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. No.
Bye.